Gentlemen, I have a clarification question.
Please.
If it was the middle of November, then to the gentleman's point, it was after President Trump had won, and those people were out because they were in mourning, because they were so partisan that they wanted to not be there. And I think he made a very good point, and I thank the gentleman.
We digress.
Can I actually just respond to that really quickly?
I am actually going to recognize myself for 5 minutes now, as much as it's been a fun exercise with everybody. I would make the point that, radio free is not free. And I was just thinking about this in my office the other day, and I was like, what's the most common media in America on the radio? I think it's iHeart Radio, iHeart Media. The entire budget for iHeart Media across the breadth of the United States of America and the globe is $90 million. Wow. That's the entire breadth. For Radio Free Europe, $150 million, significantly more than all of iHeart Media. For Radio Free Asia, $70 million. For Middle East broadcasting, $103 million. You think of all of those individually, and you compare that to iHeart Media across America, and you look at the reach of that. I just think it's an interesting note as we point out the need to downsize the size and scope of what's going on in USAGM. I did want to do my questions right now because I wanted to touch a little bit on what Representative Perry had spoken about with that IG report, but I am very surprised that nobody touched off on this on either side of the aisle. It was just said by you in your opening remarks that there's a member of Congress targeted by somebody inside of USAGM. Does that mean you were tracking their IP address and they were emailing people or they were phone calling? How do you track that? What do you mean?
Well, you'd have to ask the Capitol Police. They're the ones, I believe, doing the investigation, and it's an active investigation. But from my understanding, somebody was calling a beloved member of Congress who's actively in Congress right now. And
Republican or Democrat?
I'm going to let you guess. With the bias you've seen at this agency, just take a wild guess.
Can you say the name of the individual that conducted this?
I think I would prefer to withhold that, and maybe we can talk away from this because I don't want to sabotage the investigation.
Will you keep us updated on it as the investigation goes on?
I will as I learn more. From what I've learned is that over the course of 2 years, I believe starting in roughly October of 2023, right up until January of 25, threatening phone calls were being made to a sitting member of Congress. And through the course of their investigation, they figured out where those calls were. I don't know how our investigators figured that out, but they have ways, and they found out that the phone calls to the sitting member of Congress, threatening calls, were coming from inside of VOA.
Thank you for sharing. We look forward, I'm sure all of us on both sides, to hearing more information about this. I want to get to the questions about the IG reports, and it's something that I spoke about in my opening statements. Individuals hired on, improperly vetted, some of these agencies asking for their own SCIFs, their own secure places to view classified information, and not literally always being given security clearances, but given access to secret and top secret information. It's amazing to me to think that journalists were given what we might not give allied militaries. That to me is a very interesting thing to think about. But when you say we couldn't find 500 of these individuals, you mean somewhere in the government you went to go look for who are these people that you consider suspect, and now they pulled a Kaiser Sose and we can't see them anywhere? What's going on?
Sadly, yes. About 1,500 people went through this shoddy vetting, which I think could have been intentionally shoddy, and because they knew there were problems. This is no fingerprints, aliases in many cases. No
FBI fingerprints or something like that.
Some of the times the FBI fingerprints were taken and not submitted. Sometimes they were not taken at all. And then they were given PIV cards, which is the access card you need to get into federal buildings and offices. It's actually a very secure way of keeping our offices and our departments and
somebody's hired by America, they have a direct deposit. They have, like you said, an ID card to get into a building. If they're global media, they might have a passport to travel on behalf of the United States of America. The fact that you're saying these individuals cannot be found is a staggering statement.
Not only can they not be found, and we've asked for help with other agencies to try to track them down. We even asked the Doge guys. These are young guys who have a way of kind of looking into things, and they said, I think we can find them. They tried and tried and tried.
Did they use aliases? I mean, were these people using fake names?
Yes.
Okay.
when they come in.
Did they have social security numbers, or were they foreigners?
They're foreigners with no
on
social
visas?
security numbers, so they're given just a notional number was put in on these forms. They had forms that were not filled out. I mean, this is a massive security failure in a level that should keep you up at night.
I want to ask you one more question.
And they could be working, by the way, at
I
other
want to
agencies.
get to one more question before my time expired. Like you said, you were a big part of media in your prior roles. Did you ever have a TS or SCI clearance, or did you ever get to go into a SCIF as a member of the media?
No.
Thank you. I now recognize Representative Sherfless McCormick.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ms. Lake, for being here. I do have